Welcome everybody to another episode of the Spit Your Game podcast. Today, I got one of my close friends, stand out at West Bolivar, Mississippi Delta alum, and played ball at Mississippi College. I got my guy, Sid Armstrong.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, Sid?
Man, nothing much. You left out something, man. I own 2 Taco Bells in Omaha, Nebraska. No, I'm just messing with you. What's going on, bro?
Dang, look, I'm trying to do my research, man. You know how it is.
No.
How you been, man?
Man, I've been good, man. I've been good. I've been blessed.
Man, that's what's up,
Definitely
man.
been blessed.
Man, so you still coaching at West Bolivar, man. How your season go this year, man?
This year, not so good. Kind of graduated everybody. Well, matter of fact, all 5 starters graduated last year. 6-man and 7-man. Mm-hmm. Everybody this year came back was pretty much brand new.
Okay.
But this year we only had 1 senior. So next year I'm expecting real big things from this group.
Okay. So right now you have, of course, the year is over. Kids gone home. So next year you got a lot of seniors. You got a lot of sophomores, juniors. What your?
Next year should be a mixture.
Okay.
I should have 3 seniors, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And the rest of them are kind of just mixed up, like 4 or 5 juniors. I know freshmen I should have 4. Sophomores, I think it's 4. So it's kind of a mixture of groups, which is really what I've been trying to set up in the past, and not being so senior heavy.
Okay. So man, siblings, man. You got any sisters and brothers?
By my dad, I have 3 brothers, 1 sister. Mm-hmm. By my mother, I have 1 brother.
Okay. Yeah. Kids?
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old daughter that just made the cheerleader team here.
Okay.
She'll be 7th grade next year.
Ooh, time flying, ain't it, man?
Yeah, that's my love right there, though, boy. It seemed like yesterday we were walking out of the hospital.
Yeah. And now she made the cheerleader squad.
Right.
That's what's up.
I was hoping basketball, but at least she'll be cheering for me. At least I have 1 cheerleader on my side.
Hey, you know that's so crazy, man. When we, kids come and we have kids or whatever, we want them to kind of follow us, but we don't want to push that narrative towards them. Definitely. So we just be crossing our fingers like, I hope they, what I'm saying.
Right.
But so you was born and raised where?
Beulah, Flat Road, kind of both.
Okay.
Stayed in Rosedale on Num 8 and across the track, which is called a new addition to maybe 3rd grade, maybe. Then we moved to Beulah, moved back to Rosedale, then back to Beulah. So between Beulah and Rosedale, that's pretty much it, yep.
Okay, so how was your upbringing, man? How was your neighborhood and how you was all raised?
Oh, it was great. Pretty much we just wanted to go to school and play ball, man, whether I was in Rosedale or in Beulah. I think Beulah was a little bit more structured per se, because we only had 1 store.
Okay.
We get out of school at 3:15. That store closed probably about 4, and we had a cafe also that we couldn't go in the cafe after 6 anyway. Beulah was kind of a smaller town where everybody knew each other, and we had, and even in order to even play sports, all of us had to go and play sports. It's not a group here, a group there. All of us were always together.
Okay. So basically like just a community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Close-knit community.
Yep.
Okay, so what all towns make up West Bolivar?
You have Beulah, Simon, Pace, Gunnison, Rosedale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So growing up, man, when did you gravitate to sports first, or was it something that you kind of was liking before sports?
A lot of people don't know it, but I grew up playing football.
Okay.
Probably didn't start playing basketball till like 3rd or 4th grade, maybe. I was a huge Jerry Rice fan. Jerry Rice jerseys, when he was with the 49ers. And I was tried out for the junior high football team, 7th grade, and broke my wrist.
Okay.
And I couldn't shoot a ball for like 2 or 3 months, and that was my last.
That was it.
That was my last time playing football.
So I've been hooping ever since.
Ever since.
Okay. So you you attempted to play football.
Right. First day of practice, I broke my wrist.
Look, hey, it's a sign.
Right.
Man. It's a reason.
Right. I don't need to be out there.
You don't need to be out there. So, was it anybody that you looked up to growing up, man, like around the community, or even like you say, you like Jerry Rice, but was it anybody else that you kinda looked up to?
Around here, we saw, like, just coming to the gym, because being around Coach Thomas, you know, if you saw the gym open, it was older guys in here playing. Travaris Bennett, I grew a liking to. Tyson Rivals. Myrelis Nix, you know, who stayed right down the street from me. Aaron Evans, you know, it was a bunch of guy from Brewler. I want to say Lucius Tucker. We call him Scoop in Brewler. So it was kind of a handful of guys who I saw playing. It was like, man, I think this is really what I want to do.
So guys basically in here getting it in.
Right, right. Whether it was gym, at the court, parks, you know, I think T stayed across the track and he had a dirt court. And man, they used to play over there, and just to be in their presence and watch out, like, yeah, I need to be doing this right here. Right.
Yeah. So when did you start actually playing basketball? What was the age?
I'd have to say maybe, well, growing up, we always played basketball and football, because in Brewler, we had one court that we couldn't go to, you know, because it was kind of like the grown folks court. But I actually had the goal in my yard. I was the only one had a goal in my yard.
Everybody
so
over
that's what we played, you know, that's really what we played at.
Okay. So middle school, did you start hooping in middle school? Or?
Yeah, we're in my 7th grade year. I sat the bench. That was like the worst experience ever, man.
You want to get better.
Yes.
So,
and I had an uncle, Xavier Armstrong, who was kind of like my brother, man. We used to go in the back and play, and I had a dirt court, so we used to go in the back and play. He used to whoop my butt, man, and I couldn't come. And some nights I wanted to come in the house crying, and he just hit. Wish you would go in that house crying, boy. Just hit me in my chest, on my arm, and I think that's kind of where the toughness came from. And I just decided, hey, if I can beat him, I almost can beat pretty much anybody, because he was maybe 2-3 years older than me, but he was strong, you know, because he was older. He always wanted to make me do push-ups at night. I'm not getting on this floor doing no push-ups. Well, he was actually my mom's brother, but he was kind of like my big brother. And I think coming up, I needed that, especially during that time.
Yeah, I think we all need that one person we can kind of look up to.
Right, because being an only child till I was maybe 12 or 13, he had to be like 15, 16. So I really looked up to him as being my big brother.
Okay. So now you in high school. When did you start to get your feet wet, so to claim, getting playing time, starting to get in the game? What grade were you?
High school, I started as a 9th grader.
Okay.
But guys like Ken Dixon, Mary McKinney, they were playing football.
Okay.
So I went from starting till football season ended to not playing as much. I kind of expected that, you know, being that Ken was on the 38-1 team. Had a couple more guys who were there. So I went from starting, and my best friend was starting beside me. And now I go, which was James Drummer. We called him Pistol. Everybody knows me as Pistol. So he kept starting, and I went to the bench, and that kind of just tore me apart.
I'm saying that was your 9th grade year, though.
Right.
So, I mean, I know as a freshman, you like, man, I know I supposed to.
Right.
But in all actuality, you got 3 more years to kind of. But that's that hunger.
Coming up then, we didn't think of it, you know, like that. If our friends were out there running up and down the floor, and there's somebody that I'm with, walking to school every day in class, I'm like, man, you know, not being selfish, but I want to be out there with you. So it ended up working out perfect.
Okay. So, let's go to your 10th grade year. So how things, was it like, more advanced? Now I'm starting to get more into it?
My 10th grade year was better. But then my best friend, who I had been with for so long, ended up getting kicked out of school. So that was kind of you know, here we are sitting back thinking that, we together in 7th grade, 8th grade, night, we're going to be tough. And I want to say around about the DVC tournament, he got kicked out of school and just never could bounce back. So that kind of left me stranded, you know, again. But I think I still played fairly well, just not as well as I thought I could because he was most of the primary ball handler, so now my roles had to change.
So you had to basically get your handles.
Right, and at that time I wasn't ready for that.
You just let that ball fly.
Right.
Okay, so now your 11th and 12th grade year, junior, senior year. Okay, so I know things got better then. So how did your senior year, how did that end up ending for y'all?
Actually, we lost to the late Jasper Johnson in the semifinals of the state tournament. Matter of fact, we lost to them 4 times that year. 2 times in the regular season, once in the district championship, and then even in that Final Four.
And this was your senior year?
Yep.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Right.
So what was your high school, or you feel like was y'all biggest rivalry?
At the time, I would say Shelby Broad Street, because for some reason during those times we played 4 games. We played 2 junior high games and 2 high school games right behind. And I remember just, now that I look back, if you made it toward the end of the girls' junior high game, you probably wouldn't get in. I mean, we had some battles, man. We always played on a Saturday, started kind of early on Saturday. I guess it's things that we don't think about while we're playing now that I'm older, but I would have to say Broad Street.
Yeah. Didn't y'all play in the tournament a couple times, y'all conference tournament or something like that? They in y'all conference or? No,
they wouldn't. No, because we were 3A at the time. They were 2A.
Okay. Yeah. But they still was your rivalry.
You had Jimmy Jones and the 2 twins.
Yeah.
They were tough.
Yeah. Okay. So while you was in high school, you get any accolades? Did you receive any awards?
I was all state, all district, all Bolivar County.
Okay.
I was actually all district, all Bolivar County my junior year and my senior year.
Okay.
My senior year was a whole lot better. State tournament, I averaged over 25 points a game. Played against A.I. Jeffries, who ended up playing for the Utah Jazz. Played them
went to Prentice, right?
Right. We played Prentice in the game before the semifinals.
He was about what? He was like 10th, 11th grade.
Had to be like 10th, 11th grade. He was tough then.
Man, what he about 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah, he was tough. And we had Frederick Johnson and Terrell McCoy, who were they were probably just as good.
Yeah. Man. Well, I remember that. I sure enough remember Terrell.
Right.
Man, rest in peace, Terrell.
Right. Appreciate
it. Passed. So now, well, in high school, I want to ask you, man, who were some of the other guys on the team with you that helped you that contributed to a lot of y'all wins and success?
Jeremy Banks, who's our football coach here now. Okay. Chris Johnson, ended up receiver at Southern Miss.
Okay.
We had Lakeithian Ford, ended up starting at cornerback at the University of Memphis. Like I said, we had Terrell McCoy, he was young, but he was a talent. Frederick Johnson, who everybody knows is Bosco. And we only had 2 seniors. That was myself and Alan Jackson. Okay. Oh, and don't let me forget Tony Epps. We had Tony Epps.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so high school years are done, man. So now it's time for college, man. Who all recruited you coming out of high school?
Mississippi Delta, Kahoma, in Indian Hills. It was like a smaller junior college school in Indiana. Really nothing much big because, like I said, I kind of peaked real late. Ball handling wasn't as good. Shot wasn't as good. So it really was just kind of put it on the floor and get whatever shot I can get. So
make good with what you got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So of course you went to Mississippi Delta.
Right.
So that's when we messed with me and you
became
teammates.
Right.
So usually I'll write something down here for Mississippi Delta, but we just go talk. We already know how it is, man.
Right.
So, but in your eyes, man, your 2 years at Mississippi Delta, how did you feel?
I thought it it's no grind like the junior college grind.
Right.
You know, I know guys say, you know, you want to get to the university. That junior college grind where you're on a bus for 2-3 hours, getting back. You know, you still have to go to class every Monday and Thursday, and you were there. You know, we wanted to hang out at night.
Man, you already know.
Coach Dougal Thomas had these crazy workouts in the morning at 5, and feet tripping over the bench, and I mean, it was great. You know, just being able to be around different guys who were probably the man on their team. You know, so all of us getting together, and plus when we made it there, you know, they hadn't made the playoffs in like 2 or 3 years.
So right.
So that was great. Just the grind of it, you know, getting to know different guys, and like even like now, you know, we still keep in contact with it through Facebook or anything. So it was a great experience. You know, now that I look back on it.
Yeah, those some times.
Right.
So you know, I want to get to this. When our freshman year, when we played Pearl River with Big Ray Savage and we played them. We was leading at halftime, and I don't know who it was, but said, "Yeah, we about to win this game." We were going up the steps, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Man," we came back in that second half, man, and Yandale Brown, I think he was his name, point guard. Yandale Brown.
The smaller guy,
he was cooking, man.
Right.
I remember that like it was yesterday, man. We were balling in that first half, man. I think we was leading, I know, but at least double digits.
Right, yeah.
And,
it was rough, always rough to play at Pearl River. And at the time, I want to say they had like 3 of the top players in the country, at the time, 3 of the top 10, you know, with the point guard, the shooting guard, and the big boy down low. Now that you mention it, I remember we had our big boy, Jason Cato.
Yeah.
We telling him, hey, just holler when they say lob. He say lob, not knowing that the lob is coming over his head.
and he yamming it.
Right.
Coach was like, Fiddy, Trans, get in. Right. Get Cato or Castellane up out there, bang.
Yeah, but those were the days, man. That we had some great times there at Mississippi Delta.
Yeah, so go to our sophomore year, we ran in old Tim Broom. We played Jones, I think.
Right, with Tim Broomfield.
You ended up playing with him at
Mississippi College, right.
Yeah, so but just if you could vividly remember, or if you could remember that game, man, what you think went wrong when we played Jones that year?
With Tim?
Yeah.
I think now, at the time, I was thinking that he wasn't as good, because he can score.
Yeah.
But me and Jimmy joked about this once before. We were at, we was at Mississippi College. Matter of fact, we played against, it was Tim Broomfield and another guy, Shedrick Kirk.
Okay.
Who kind of made them go. So once and Marcus Evans, who we call Pick, once all of us end up at Mississippi College together, and once we saw Kirk, we're probably 20, 21. Kirk had to be like 23, 24,
right.
5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
But once he got on that floor, like, wow, what he doing here? He need to be at work or something. He need to be at work. But Tim was a hell of a talent, man. Once I guess it's hard to say some guys are good once you only see them so often, but when you see him every day, it's like, man, he is pretty good. He was actually should have been at Delta State with Jasper Johnson and what was the guard you all had over there? Jeremy Richardson. But he left doing summer workouts.
Oh yeah, sure did. I was over there, sure did. Yep,
he left doing summer workouts.
Yep,
but Tim was Tim was a baller, man. Tall, long, real skinny.
Had nice jump
right,
on
Yep.
Rebound is tail off. Okay, so leave Mississippi Delta 2 years up, man. You end up at Mississippi College. Your coach was Don Lofton, right?
Right.
Okay, so I see your junior year or whatever. Y'all was 24-5. I look, I was telling you about the stats. I was trying in that Google, it ain't showed up, but I found a little tidbit.
Right.
You had a game high 17 against McMurray, and you had a game high 12 against LaTournay or whatever.
LaTourneau.
I couldn't. I was trying my best to pronounce that. But y'all was 24-5 and lost to Calvin.
Right.
60-75. You remember what happened in that game?
Against Calvin?
Yes, Calvin.
Calvin was really just, I think they went on to make the Final Four, because we made the Sweet 16 that year. Calvin was really just, they were better. And plus we came in, going into Mississippi College, we had only one senior returning. So it really was like a bunch of, all the guys that I probably saw in junior college, I saw at Mississippi College. So all of us were really just battling for position, but with the exception of one. But Calvin was, I want to say they had a point guard about 6'6", and he probably like the smallest. They were like the smallest one, man. So that was definitely an experience, man. I mean, like, we were looking around like, who gonna get who? We're like, man, it don't matter who we get. All of big Jason, you just get the small one. Who was Jason Walker from Vicksburg? He was a hell of a talent coming out of Vicksburg. But Jason said, I got the small one. We were looking around like, ain't none of them small, so let's just get somebody. Yeah. But that was a great year, going down there, especially my junior year. My senior year was pretty good also. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Where is Cal? Where is that?
I want to say it was somewhere in outskirts of Chicago. Okay. Cause we end up in, I want to say we played them in Ross, Texas, which is like matter of fact, man, it was like, you ever seen like an old Western what they call this stuff?
Tumbleweed.
That's where we were, man. Right, you saw cows that like, man, like, man, these cows can't be eating the grass, like skinny cows. We were looking like, man. Matter of fact, we flew from Jackson. That was my first time ever flying. Okay. We flew from Jackson to Houston, from Houston to Midland, and then drove like 8 hours from Midland to wherever we were, right.
Good, man. Oh, man. Okay, so your senior year, y'all was 29-2.
Right.
I think you had a game high 13 against Hardin Simmons, and you had multiple games with two or more steals in a game. I'm gonna ask you this question: did your senior year, by you having so many steals in the game, did you just feel like, you know what, we got a lot of talent, I don't need to score, I just need to pick up my defense?
My senior year, we were pretty much loaded, so it was kind of like whatever they needed me to do. Like I said, we were 29-2, ended up on a 24 game winning streak that I started on that team. Ended up being the number 2 team in the country. Started there right alongside Jimmy Johns. Yeah. It was pretty much whatever they, whatever. If I needed to make shots, I can make shots. Most of the time, I pretty much guarded the other team's best guy. Just stay with them and just don't let them get away from you.
Don't let them get 20.
Right. Right.
Don't let them get 20. Okay, so I see y'all lost to Transylvania. 64-76. Now your year's over with at Mississippi College.
Right.
Did you ever think about possibly going overseas and playing, or you just knew right then and there that was kind of it?
No, I thought, being around T. Bennett for so long, we were actually working out, lifting weights when he got the call from the Miami Heat that year that Dwayne Wade came out. He had a workout with them, so I'm like, man, if it's got to be hard to play, some ball after this. So it was more like a reality check. Let me stay here, make sure I get my degree, and just see wherever that takes me.
Okay. So right after basketball, you went straight to prepping for becoming a coach, or shall I say, what made you want to become a coach?
I actually had, a lot of people don't believe it, my mom knows, I actually had no even intentions of even moving back. Like, I was there with a college degree in exercise science, working on my master's, pushing carts at a Home Depot every day, had my own apartment. I actually came home, I want to say it was like basketball season had kind of just started. I came home to visit, ended up coming in the gym, seeing a bunch of my classmates, kids, little brothers or whatever, playing ball. And plus, when I was playing ball, like, I hardly ever came home because we really didn't have time, especially being 2-3 hours away from home. Right. So once I came home, Coach Thomas invited me back. I watched a few practices, ended up going back, pushing buggies, going to class.
Making a living.
Right, and he said, I ended up exchanging numbers with a Court Walker. And he texted me, we text every so often, like, man, when you coming back? You know, we like to see you around the gym. So Coach Thomas called me, he said, you know, the boys have really been asking about you, you know, would you want to come, next time you in town, just, you know, come by the gym, I'll let you know our practice schedule. And I want to say, like, it got close to like that Christmas break, and I came home and visited, and I was like, it might be something, you know, that I really want to do. And I went back to Clinton and put in a 2-week notice. I've been at home since then, right.
Okay. So what year was that around?
I moved back in 2009. Moved back in with my mom in 2009.
Okay, so 2009, so 2010 was a good year for you, because y'all won the West Bolivar 2A state title.
Yeah.
You was an assistant to Coach Thomas on that squad. So you back at home, back in your old stomping grounds, and y'all win 2A state title.
Right.
How did that feel, knowing that you came home and you helped the kids, man, win that state title?
Right. I think that was great, and it was great for all the right reasons. I think, you know, Coach Thomas really deserved it. You know, and he worked tremendously hard to get it. And I think that was something that, you know, I know they say don't chase it, but you can kind of sense that he was chasing it. Some say it's elusive, you know, some say they'll never get it, but he can actually say he got it. So it was great in that in that instance. It was great for the community at the time. You know, well, not at the time, but it was just great overall, because I think they won it in basketball in 10, then turned around in 11 and won it in football, and Coach Thomas won it in track.
Okay.
See, sometimes people look over the track championship, because I think he has like 11 or 12 state track championship.
Well, he used to get
Right.
Yeah.
And plus those guys, you know, when I first got back, I'm quite sure, you used to come over with True and Red and B.
Yeah.
We used to play against those guys, and they made it tough for us, you know, being former college players.
Okay.
You know, them just being high school players. So that was definitely great.
Good learning experience for them.
Right.
So 2011, you end up becoming the head coach. That next year, but the year after.
Right.
So it'll be 2011, 2012 year.
Right.
Okay. So did you think you was physically and mentally ready for that challenge?
No. I'm just gonna be honest with you. When Coach Thomas first said I'm finna give it to you, I'm like, man, are you sure? You know, I was he said, you will do great. He was like, you gonna do a good job. I'll be sitting right here next to you. He was like, I just feel like my time has gone on, so I'm gonna sit here with you, make sure you get everything you need. And he did that. If I tell anybody, being with him for those 2 or 3 years that I was with him as an assistant is equal probably 10 with, you know, anybody else. So I think that was great. Like I said, when he first gave it to me, I was more nervous than anything.
Right. Because it's like you succeed.
Right.
This guy that.
Right. I know he said, because we had a conversation one time, he said, ain't no pressure on you. So it's easy for you to say when you walked out the door. It's some pressure on you.
2 years from winning the state game.
Right. But it was great. He was with me every step of the way, man. That's been great.
Okay. So that year you became head coach. You brought along a former teammate of ours, Jimmy. Did he come that year? Which year?
No, he came. Coach stayed with me. Coach Thomas stayed with me for 2 seasons, 2 or 3.
Okay.
Then he retired, and then when he retired, Jimmy Johns came along with me.
Okay. So when Jimmy did come, you know, y'all played ball together.
Right.
Really, all 4 of your years in college.
Roommates,
roommates.
2 years.
How did him joining that staff, knowing that you got somebody that's close to you, and you know y'all kind of been through the battles yourself, how did that help it and make it easy for you to become that coach?
Jimmy helped me out tremendously. Like I said, when he first, with Coach Thomas retiring, I knew he wouldn't be here as much as I needed him to. And sometimes you just need a guy who you can talk basketball to. Like me and Coach still talked on the phone almost every other day, but it's nothing like having somebody there with you. And Jimmy was a great guy to come along and have that with me. He also was the head coach of the junior high
Okay.
doing that, doing his time here for a few years. But just having Jimmy there, somebody I still can call and still talk to, along with Coach Thomas, it was great. It was definitely great, especially to be with Jimmy anyway. Because in high school, man, I'm be honest, I just couldn't stand Jimmy because he was hell playing ball, until I got to know him at Mississippi and at Mississippi College. So it's been great.
Yeah, he was one of. It's crazy because me and B was talking about this maybe a couple of days ago, and we was like, our era, just our age, like point guard wise, like he was probably one of the toughest in the Delta, like like for real, like he it's not like he was great at a lot, but he was good at everything. Like he was solid defense, pass, shoot, like gonna give you 100%. You know what I mean? So
Jimmy was tough, man. And I think Jimmy didn't get enough credit because just looking at him, you're like, he can't play. But I've seen him come across half court and just let it go. Like, what is he doing? What is he doing? And he's constantly making them. So Jimmy was tough. Jimmy was definitely tough.
Yeah, quick story with our freshman year at Mississippi Delta, he had braids. You remember?
He had to cut him.
He didn't want to cut him.
Right, yeah.
And but he was killing.
Right.
And like when he was playing, he was killing. And he ended up being our roommate. It was me and Modi.
Right.
And we was like, I was like, man, what's up, man? Coach want me to cut my hair off. I was like, man, you don't let that happen, man.
Right,
we need, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But it had ended up becoming too late. But he ended up eventually eventually cutting it or whatever.
Right.
And he ended up playing with us our sophomore year.
Right.
But
I sure forgot all about that. Had to cut the hair. Matter of fact, he kicked the guy off because he wouldn't cut it off.
But ain't that the pot collar?
Right.
Okay. So to go back to 2010, you win the state where you assist the coach winning the state championship, and you become a girl dad.
Right. That was a big deal for me. Right.
Your daughter was born, and what's her name?
Casey.
Okay. So Casey was born. How did that change your look on life?
At that time, I needed a girl. I actually lost me and Casey's mom. We made a bet, $100 that it was gonna be a boy. So I lost $100 on that. But it was great, man. Just being there with her the whole time, like her mom was going through the whole pregnancy in the hospital. I was pretty much there the whole time. Now she's 12 now, so I mean, that was, if I can do it all over again, I wouldn't change nothing, man. That's definitely being a father, especially to a girl, it's, well, to anyone, man, that's my heart right there.
It's special with girls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, you're a girl dad and that's daddy's little girl.
Right.
So
right.
Anytime, look, hey, prom finna come up, man, you gonna have to buy the shotgun.
I seen some of them prom pictures this year with the horse and carriage. I need to start saving now. So anybody out there, cash out, Coach said 83 for the next 3 years at least. Right.
You know what's coming, man. I see on Facebook, you post a lot when she was younger.
Right.
Y'all stayed at McDonald's.
Right.
But she didn't graduate to No Way Jose now, so so she in Pop's pockets.
Right. I think she kind of burnt out on, the no. And it's kind of like when we started the No Way Jose, I was like, in case you want to go to get something to eat, she's like, yeah, come on, let's go. And so we heading there. I'm too big for this. Right? I don't want no hamburger no more. Like, what you want? You got to take me to No Way Jose right now. So that was definitely like she's not so dependent on me, for stuff. And I think that's gonna be the hardest part about it. I'm so used to her calling me or come, Dad, can you open this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Now it's like, I got it. Get out my way, and I hate that.
Yeah, that's.
I definitely hate that.
Okay. But that's a good thing, man.
Right.
That, it's gonna be like you say. It's gonna be tough on you, man.
Right. I can feel it already. Because matter of fact, I hadn't talked to her today, and now that you bring her up, my heart is big. I'm not saying that nothing's wrong, but like you forgetting about your pops.
Hey, look. We're gonna take a break and let them go and call her real quick. Okay, but back to coaching, man. So you stayed above 500 most of your years when you was head coaching.
Right.
1 year you was 23-6. 1 year you was 21-9. 1 year was 21-7. 1 year you was 21-8. Then the last couple of years, not counting that COVID year, I think you was 12 and 11, and then this past year you were saying that you know, things didn't really go right, just transition and stuff. You probably elaborated on it a little earlier. You were saying that you had a lot of new kids or something coming in and stuff like that. So, but now your next year, they're gonna be a year older, a year more experienced. So I'm sure everything gonna turn out good for you.
I appreciate it.
So, has anything changed from when you first started coaching to now? Like just I know your knowledge of it, but just how you coach, or you still kind of keeping it the same?
I think I had to change for not only for myself, but for them as well. With kids nowadays, well, with ball players in general, you almost have to meet them where they're at and try to get them to, you know, it's no use of trying to go from point A to C, D, E. Let's just try to get to B. You know, as fast as we can and as efficient as we can. And I think I wouldn't say the last few years, but like when I first got into it, I wanted them to see the game the way I saw it, you know, on a college level. It's faster, you had to be bigger, you had to be stronger. Everybody had to shoot, you had to be able to handle the ball. But I had to see that they're, you know, I wouldn't say that they're not college ball players, but I almost have to teach them how to play how I want them to play. So that's been my biggest obstacle. Because most kids, now we're a small 1A school, most kids here they play football, they play basketball, they play baseball, they run track. So it's pretty much, they'll never get a chance to be good at just one thing. And that's, you know, unless they're an exceptional athlete, and that's expected.
So basically in all your years, your years of coaching, that's something that you kind of had to learn along the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I think you just said the learning style for the kids are different when we were when we was younger. Like we wanted to learn it, but it was like we kind of caught on a little. Now it's like off your left leg with the right arm. You know what I'm saying? They want a sauce and jelly and go under.
And there's more demonstration now. I remember, like, you know, coming up, we might see somebody try something and be like, man, we can try that. Or a coach can say, or like even like at Mississippi College, we had a playbook. So it was nobody on the floor showing us how to do stuff. But like and I think that's just the teaching thing of it. You know, not only are we coaches, we're actually having to teach them how to play. You know, so it's getting close to, well, it's summertime now, so I know I'm how to work my way back in shape to kind of demonstrate, you know, certain things for them. So I think it's going to be okay.
So we real quick on Coach Thomas. Is this something that he instilled in you? Maybe it was just some knowledge that he instilled in you that you keep with you right now, like something he probably told you, like a little tidbit, a little advice or something he always, or is it just you kind of learn from something?
Being around him, you almost have to be, like, he pays attention to everything. I would say outwork the Knicks. Like, he always said, keep working, you know. Like most guys will say, you know, said you're doing a good job, you know, and I take it and kind of just go with it. But for some reason, it's different coming from him. You know, it kind of make me stick my chest out a little bit, because he'll call me like, say, man, you know, golly, you're doing a pretty good job, man. Keep working. And then like he'll even mention, like, maybe, man, Coach Peterson said, you know, man, you're doing a good job. So hearing that from an older veteran coach, that's definitely a blessing. And plus, just to see him, man, like, he's always working. You know, he's always working. I mean, one time we were having a conversation. I was driving and he was on the passenger side, and we were talking. And he fell asleep on me, and I'm still talking. And he woke up and said, yeah. I said, nah, you're asleep. Nah, you're asleep. So Coach is great. You know, he had, you know, everybody has their ways. And I would say, like, even in high school, you know, and if anybody says anything different who played for him, there were times where you really couldn't stand Coach Thomas. And I can honestly say that, like, there were times when I was like 9th, 10th grade, like, he used to ride me. Like, say you still can't pass. Say you doing it. Say you doing it. And like, at the time, I didn't understand it. But like my senior year in high school, I don't think he probably said 2 or 3 words to me because I was so used to it. And I was by far the best player on the team. And so he said, "You okay?" I mean, one night I had the flu. Said, "You okay?" I said, "Yep." He said, "Can you play?" I said, "Yep." And that was pretty much it. But since I've been coaching, we definitely built, then it was player-coach relationship. But like now it's like father, son, mentor, life coach, whatever you want to call it now.
They're 20 years in almost.
Right.
Goddamn near.
Right.
So okay. Do you inspire to be a college coach, or you just want to stick with high school?
I like high school for the simple fact, like in college, you have to be able to, I think now you have to be able to recruit certain kids. If they don't come, you just have to play with what you have.
Right.
But I take pride in just coaching. Like I said, most of these are my classmates' kids. In 2018, I actually got to coach my best friend's younger brother, who I was in the hospital when he was born.
So ain't that something?
Right. Like now I'm coaching on this team here. They either my classmates' kids or some of my classmates' younger siblings or something like that. And that's definitely great. So if anything happened, I can just pick up the phone. Hey, you going home telling your mama, man, I already know.
I already know.
Right, we straight.
We was in English class.
Right.
Okay. I got a couple wrap it up questions, man, and then we're gonna call it foul. Things that come to mind when you hear these names or places. Don Lofton.
Great coach.
Okay. Rosedale.
Home.
I will say Brula, but it's just like right there.
Right. Same thing. So if anybody asks me where I'm from, the road, I say Brula, but it's still both.
Yeah, it's still both.
Yep.
Toughest player you had to guard.
Say nobody, because high school high school I did majority of the scoring, so.
I mean, it could be college that you can remember.
Martin Salinas from UT Dallas. Conference championship game, he hits a 3. I come down, hit a 3. I say something to him. I come down and hit 2 more 3s, and he run off for probably 10, 11 in a row.
Hey, look, he hit you with that Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Okay. Now this question here might get a couple text messages after they see this. The top 5 basketball players ever to come out of West Bolivar.
Ooh.
We ain't gonna count you. We just gonna.
Oh well, you can't. No, that I've seen.
That you've seen.
That I've seen.
It could be recent. It could be.
Now I've heard stories about Sam Jones, but I've never seen. I've never seen Sam.
Okay.
All I can go by is what I hear, so I wouldn't even name Sam because I've never seen him. I would have to say that I've seen with my eyes Tyson Rivals, Travaris Bennett. Whee. I'm gonna leave it at 2, so I won't get in no trouble. Because I know it's gonna come on Facebook. We've actually had some pretty good ball players. That's a question that, that's something that we've always talked about. That's something that Coach Thomas will have to,
That's barbershop talk. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna leave it at my 2.
Look, the 2 that everybody gonna agree with. So once you go to the 3, 4, and 5,
right now, I can give you 3, but that third one got to be a girl.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's
and that'll be Wakanda Thomas.
Okay.
So, but I can't name you 5 because there was at one point where, like with Donnie Campbell, I never got to see Donnie on the floor.
Right.
So never got to see Marcus Lewis, on the floor.
But those just people that you heard that were.
I played with Chris Johnson, who was like Rondo before Rondo.
Right.
But I didn't see him again. Well, when I was a senior, he was 10th grade.
Okay.
In 11th, 12th grade, I was off in college playing ball. But I'm gonna leave it at
3
T-Bennett, Tyson Rivals.
Watch on.
Right, right.
All right. You still follow NBA?
Right.
Your top 3 players right now in the game. Your top 3. It ain't got to be, everybody else top 3. Who you like? Your top 3 guys.
I like Steph, LeBron. I hated him at first, man, but watch, oh my God, Jokic is, he's not skilled. Yeah. He just go home all summer and drink beer all summer and come back. Right, because somebody posted a shot on Facebook the other day when he had it back here on Anthony Davis. Somebody said, man, nephew, let me see that ball and get a shot of it. Kind of remind you of an older guy at the park. So I would have to say Jokic, man, because the thing that he's doing, man, and he makes those guys go. He don't like he's moving fast, I don't lift weights, man. Just let me get out of the car and play some ball.
And he running.
Right.
And he in shape to be his, he ain't muscular, he ain't got no tone, but he running. Advice you give your players now?
When we show up, let's work hard. Nowadays, we're living in days, and that's the scariest part about it, when you're dealing with boys between teenage boys, I'll say that, the streets. Mm-hmm. You have kids with guns and smoking, and once you make a mistake, it's hard to get out of it. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be a nerd. Now, I wouldn't say a nerd, but it's okay to come to school and do your work and not get in trouble and just go on about your business.
Everybody want to try to fit in with the so-called cool crowd.
With the cool crowd,
instead of just being themselves and get their work. Yeah, I agree. Vacation spot you never been but you want to go?
Bahamas. I say Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay. Last question I ask everybody that I interview. Would you change anything about your journey?
Nope. It's been humbling and exciting at the same time. Nope. I thought a part of me wanted to say yes because I just coached high school girls this year, but that was definitely a great experience. In all cases, man, there's been, the coach, girls and boys, I asked Coach Thomas, how you do that for 10, 15 years, but doing it is it was worth it. So I would have to say, this has definitely been a great journey. That most say I'm still kind of just starting, so I wouldn't change nothing.
I mean, you're still in the game.
Right, right.
A lot of folks don't come straight from college and then go straight into
coaching.
Because soon you got out of college, which you was 2 years, and then you right into head coaching.
Right.
Most people be assistants for 5, 6 years before they get there. So, but Sid, man, I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you,
man,
bro.
It's always love, man.
Yes,
you know what I'm
sir.
saying? We've been 20 years in the game.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like it's been that long.
Man, we feel old, man. But I appreciate you, bro, man.
Anytime, bro.
Man,
I appreciate it.
Keep it going, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
I be feeling like the man when I walk through. Ain't stunning what you saying when I walk through. I got all these hoes staring when I walk through. Had to make a few bands on the walk through. Watch me, hey, why me walk through? Watch me, hey, why me walk through? Watch me, hey, why me walk through? Had to make a few bands on the walk through. Had to make a few bands on the walk through. People don't know now, I don't talk to. Me and Parliament in the big hill boss too. Sitting at the round table making balls move. I don't walk through with Gucci on my feet. Who got more money, you or me? I'ma walk through usually with my nigga, better believe that I got the tool on me. I done smoke past security.